Shalom, ahchyam. As always, to start off with, facing towards the east. Which means all praises to the Most High Yahweh. Yahweh being the ancient Hebrew name of the Most High, and of course Yahweh being the ancient Hebrew name of the Messiah. Means all praises to, and of course Bahashim means in the name Yahweh, because of course as we know, through Yahweh that's how we get to Yahweh. Especially being in these weaker vessels that we dwell in right now. We're going to need Yahweh in the time to come. But topic today was, I think I named it an entity having a human experience, or a powerful entity having a human experience. Because as we know, Psalms 82 verse 6 says that said, ye are gods, but ye shall die as men. Verse 6 and verse 7 of Psalms chapter 82. But before we get into that, let's get into John 15, because we know we're not of this world, so of course we're simply just a power rather inside a human, a weaker vessel, just having experiences of humans rather, as the heathens. So let's get John 15. That's why it says in John 15 verse 19 that we're not of the world, so rather we're just simply experiencing the things of the world, rather we've got to use them as tools. The users of the world not abuse them. The main thing is, the main point to take out of this lesson is rather we're separate from this world. So I named it an entity having a human experience. Alright, so let's get John 15. So this is John 15 verse 19. If you were of the world would love its own. Yet because you are not of the world, but I chose you out of the world, therefore the world hates you. And of course right there, as we know, I think as Israelites also preaching onto this truth, the word actually being fire onto other Israelites, 2/3, and of course heathens as well, especially Edomites, when they hear it, of course that's going to stir up that hate within them. That's why it says the world, Yahweh has chosen us out of the world. That's the thing. Brother, you know you're an Israelite. Chosen people of the Most High. Did you know you're an Israelite? One of the chosen people of the Most High. Have you heard of the names Yahweh and Yahweh? You gotta come back, man. And make sure you don't take the mark of the beast. That's the microchip implant. Yeah, James was going along, man. Yeah. But anyways, we're going to keep persevering in these works, man. We've got to keep that fire lit within our spirits. Keep doing the will of Yahweh Hashem Yahushua. So anyways, going on to the scriptures, it says there in John 15, verse 19, it says, if you are of the world will love its own. And of course, we're not of the world. Which is why, when we actually come out in the house and byways, preach on this word in confidence, other people actually get uncomfortable. That's the thing. When they're uncomfortable and we're preaching this word of confidence, clearly that's going to stir up something within them, especially when heathens pass by. Especially those ones who've actually heard of the truth, because they know their destiny, they know their fate, rather. So it says, continuing on, it says, yet because you are not of the world, but I chose you out of the world, therefore the world hates you. So of course there's going to be reasons. There's going to be reasons why the world will actually hate us. Us being confident in the words of Yahweh Hashem Yahushua. Of course, keep persevering in the faith, preaching out in the highways and byways. Even if young jakes don't want to listen. Do you not know you're Israelites? Chosen people of the Most High. Chosen children of the Most High. That's what I'm preaching about, you know. You don't need to remember the names Yahweh and Yahushua. The world ignorant calls them God and Jesus, but their real name in the ancient Hebrew is Yahweh. That's the name of God, the true name of God in the ancient Hebrew. And Yahweh, that's the true name of the so-called Jesus Christ. What Christianity preaches to you is that he's a so-called white man, but he's not a white man. He's actually your skin color right here. If you read the scriptures, Revelation chapter 1, verse 14 to 15, you see the so-called black man. But his skin is compared to brass or bronze. Just search up Revelation chapter 1 verse 14 to 15. It's your skin color, yeah, a so-called white man. I remember those names, Yahweh and Yahushua. I'm here like every Wednesday or every Saturday. Come and listen more. But as continuing on with the lesson, we're talking about an entity having a human experience. Now let's get back to the thing. And of course, ahchyam, the younger brothers as well, you just got to try and bring them up. Because you know, you never know, one of them could be part of the elect. Out of that group of 5 that you saw right there, the thing is, one of them may be part of the elect. It's only a time before we then know what type of spirit that they're in. They'd be an elect member or just a 2/3, bro. And we'll keep preaching, we'll keep persevering. So yeah, man, Yahushua chose us out of this world, which is why the works we do are different to those of the world. The thing is, the spiritual works, we gain the reward spiritually. Compared to heathens, who actually work their physical works and then they get their reward physically as well. Of course, right now, although we do have physical works, we know our priority today, in this day and age, just before this mark of the beast is implemented, is for us to do the spiritual works, pleasing Yahweh and Yahushua. Do you know you're an Israelite? Show the people of the Most High. Yeah, that's the thing right there. If they say hello to you, they probably know what you're preaching about, Israelite, but you know, I'm trying to see what type of spirit I'm communicating with. Which is why I asked, did you know you're an Israelite? Do you know about the names Yahweh and Yahushua? Those are the 2 key terms, the 2 key phrases, in order to actually see what type of spirit they're in. If Yahweh has given them the blessing to know the names. Yeah, that's John 15, man. Yahushua chose us out of the world to do the things that are not of this world, to keep persevering. As it said in, I think Matthew, you know, our next scripture, I'll get Matthew chapter 24, verse 16. Actually 26, verse 41. Because we know right now, although we do the things that are not of this world, we're separate from the world, and we do things such as a job, of course, basically to earn money day by day until the moment comes where we can't really earn money anymore. That's when we're going to have our faith in Yahweh and Yahushua. But of course, we're separate. That's fundamentally the message of this lesson. That we're separate from this world. Brother, you know you're an Israelite. Chose the people of the Most High. You gotta come back, man. Make sure you don't take the mark of the beast as well. That microchip implant. It's gonna come eventually. But no man can buy or sell without it. Anyways, let's get Matthew right now. Yeah, Karnak, you just gotta keep meditating, man. Because we're simply powers within a weaker vessel. And when that moment comes, Yahweh Shim Yahushua is gonna turn us up, you know, to speed up the destruction of this kingdom. Always got to know, we're simply entities having a human experience. Which is why we use the world, of course, for what we need. And fundamentally, when the time comes where we're going to start doing the world even more further, and our faith is going to be raised even more, because by that I'm referring to spiritual power, of course healing as well, destroying this kingdom, preaching onto Jake as well. And also that spiritual power is going to be an incentive for Jake, you know, to come into this truth as well. As it says in Psalms 110, that thy people shall be willing in the day of thy power. So Khan, before I get into that as well, let me get Matthew chapter 26. Always got to know, man, we're separate from everyone here. We're always separate. That's why when we bring out the words, people are always uncomfortable because they don't really understand what we're doing. Especially the heathen. Majority of heathens, even 2/3 Jakes, they don't even understand why we come out in the highways and byways and marketplaces. Let's get 26. Right, so this is wait. Alright, so this is Matthew chapter 26, verse 41. It says here, watch and pray lest you enter into temptation. The spirit indeed is willing, but the flesh is weak. And as we know, in these weaker vessels, although we know through the spirit as well that we're actually powers, Yahweh Shim Yahushua, and also part of the elect, Yahweh, we're hoping to be part of the elect. The thing is, we know that we also suffer the consequences of the flesh, the desires of the flesh as well. Which is why in the time to come, as we're growing our faith and fear in Yahweh Shem Yahushua, the spirit should really surpass the flesh. So that the fruits of the spirit, us desiring righteousness as the spirit actually desires, but though the flesh is like a counteraction to that. That's the thing. That's the disadvantage of the flesh rather. The fact that the flesh and the spirit are always conflicting between each other. That's the problem. So although we seek righteousness truly in our minds, in the spirit, there are also fleshly desires as well that we have to conflict with. And Yahweh Tazad, we're pretty much going through a training process as well before we then get into that state of rulership over the heathens and over what Yahweh Shem Yahushua is going to bestow upon us in terms of what we're going to rule over and have power over. It's all a training session right now. Us coming out of the house and bowing, having the confidence to preach. It's all training for the kingdom. Because Yahushua is looking for rulers and those who are good in long suffering, have the fruits and show the fruits of the Spirit. Which are the fruits that mentions that we're going to be flourishing with Yahweh Tazal, keep enduring in this truth. So let's get another scripture too. And always got to remember the things of this world are vain too. So simply use them, but don't let them hinder you in terms of doing the works of Yahweh Shem Yahushua. They should not be a hindrance. Use the world, don't abuse the world. I think that's in 1 Corinthians chapter 11 verse 4. So let's get another scripture too. We get Galatians chapter 5 verse 5. Related to the fact that the spirit is actually willing and the flesh is actually weak as well. Let's get that. Galatians chapter 5 verse 5. Yeah, man. Any one of these young Jakes or any other Jake, any other Israelite that passes by, you never know, you can be speaking to one of the elect. That's why we keep persevering. Whoever's willing to listen, we always preach unto them. So let's get Galatians chapter 5 verse 5. This is linking to the fact that the spirit is actually willing and desires to do the righteous thing. The righteous things that pertain to what Yahweh Shem Yahushua deems as righteous, which is within the scriptures. So it says here in Galatians chapter 5 verse 5, it says here, for we through the spirit eagerly wait for the hope of righteousness by faith. Obviously that hope of righteousness is really the earth being put in a righteous state, the heathens put in order, everything else put in order of the righteous order that it's supposed to be. Each and every single thing, the whole earth, rather. From the heathens, to the elect, to other Israelites, to the whole world in general. I'll read it once more. It says Galatians chapter 5 verse 5. For we through the Spirit eagerly wait for the hope of righteousness by faith. So we have faith as we come out here in the highways and byways, in the marketplaces as well, preaching. We're always willing, that we always know in our hearts that Yahushua is going to come back and then everything else is going to be set in order. This is the faith that we have. And one of the main reasons why we come out in the highways and byways is to teach people in all wisdom, whether they will listen or not. I mean, it don't really matter whether people pass by that you still got to keep going, man. You got to have that confidence. That's the thing. Anyway, let's get another scripture. The Spirit is willing. The Spirit is certainly willing. But of course, we're conflicting with the flesh. And of course, as we're training upon this earth right now, we're training so that the Spirit will then surpass the desires of the flesh. So that the fleshly desires won't be a hindrance to that time where we're going to be tested greatly. Let's get another scripture. this is pertaining to the vanity of the works of this world. Like I said, we're just using the world, not using it. They're excessively using it. Well, anyways, let's get to the thing. Ecclesiastes chapter 2, verse 11. It says here, Ecclesiastes chapter 2, verse 11. Then I looked on all the works that my hands had done, and on the labor which I had toiled, and indeed all was vanity and grasping for the wind. And it said here, there was no profit under the sun. So of course that's talking about the vanity of the world, man. The things of this world are worthless. That's the point. So whatever we need, we use it. And even for the brothers who even have extra, who are blessed with extra, of course it's your responsibility to then donate to the brotherhood as well. And making sure the ahchyam are also safe. Because you know some brothers may be put in certain conditions. And Yara Tazar, if you're then aware that they're in this condition, if you can donate to them, fundamentally, it's your responsibility, you know, to do that. That's the thing. You always keep that faith, man. You gotta keep the brotherhood and have that love. It's essentially part of the fruits of the Spirit. It says in Galatians chapter 1, actually chapter 5, verse 21 or 22, about the fruits of the Spirit. Those are key, man, and love is one of them. Love for the brotherhood. But you know, the brotherhood is rather different parts of Yahushua in different areas of the world, the earth. Hard, man, we gotta keep persevering. Brother, you know you're Israelite. Chosen people of the Most High. Jake, man. As I always say, Jake's in an unfortunate position right now. But whoever's willing to listen, keep persevering, I will preach to them. No matter what happens, whether we get humiliated or whatever, the priority is just doing the will of Yahweh Hashem Yahushua. That's why it come out here. Let's get another scripture too. Colossians chapter 1, verse 28. Actually. Alright, come. Still recording. Well, you know you're Israelite. Oh, Cleopatra. I'm just preaching out here right now to Negroes, Latinos, Native American Indians. Have you heard of the Hebrews? You haven't. Have you heard of the names Yahweh and Yahushua? Basically, I'm preaching to those people like yourself, and to Negroes, Latinos, Native American Indians. About the fact that they're the chosen people of the Most High. I never know. They don't really preach it, but rather you see images of like Jesus Christ being a so-called white man. But the scriptures right here, if you read Revelation chapter 1, verse 14 to 15, his skin color, his appearance, is compared to brass or bronze. It's a metal with a brown skin, in brown color. So that's, I'm good. I'm alright. What about you? Yeah, what about you? You decided to do it? Yeah. But the results?
Yeah.
It's all good. Another day. Yeah. Anyways, as I said, no matter what happens, whoever you meet, you're going to keep preaching, man. You're going to keep preaching. But anyways, the main priority is to get brothers. The thing is, Eve right now, she's just not worth it. That's the thing, it's not worth it. We're trying to get brothers, more harvesters in this tree. Forgot that scripture, but of course the harvesters are more many than the consumers. Roughly paraphrasing that scripture. So, come on, let's get another one. Right now, there's also Jakes as well, they're bugging out. That's an unfortunate case. You see, but he's enjoying life, he's bugging. The Aris is not the time to come, he's going to be healed from that. Anyways, oh yeah, I was going to read Ecclesiastes chapter 2 verse 11. I'll read it once more. Actually verse 17, let me read this one. It says here, therefore I hated life, because the work that was done under the sun was distressing to me, for all is vanity and grasping for the wind. As we know, grasping for the wind, how can you actually clutch the wind? You can't clutch the wind. That's impossible, bro. That's the thing, you can't clutch the wind, especially when you don't have spiritual power. But the point there being, it has a meaning within it, where it's pretty much worthless trying. It's impossible just trying to gather up works here. Simply just trying to use the world. I'm not trying to abuse it or use it excessively. That's the thing.